Welcome to Spurs Focus, your go-to spot for daily Tottenham news, transfers, and match updates. Don't forget to support the channel by hitting that subscribe button now. Let's dive into today's top story. Tottenham just survived a Champions League shocker in Norway. A last-minute own goal saved Spurs from defeat against Bodo Glimt, and now manager Thomas Frank is under fire as he faces the press. Here's everything he said after that dramatic 2-2 draw. Thomas Frank has plenty of questions to answer at his press conference after Tottenham's fortunate 2-2 draw at Bodo/Glimt on Tuesday evening in the Champions League. A Jens Petter Hauge double was exactly what the Norwegian host deserved as they overwhelmed an error-strewn Spurs side for much of the encounter, only for Tottenham captain for the day Mickey van der Ven to head a goal back. Then in the 89th minute, an Archie Gray shot was saved by the goalkeeper only to bounce into the net off Bodo defender Jostein Gundersen to spare Frank's team's blushes. It was another late comeback after Saturday's draw against Wolves, and it was nowhere near the physical level shown by the North London side when they first came to the small Norwegian town by the sea in their 2-0 victory at the Aspmyra Stadion in the Europa League semi-final. Second leg back in May, our Tottenham correspondent Alasdair Gold was among those putting the questions to Frank after this latest game on Tuesday night. Here's the full transcript from the press conference at the Aspmyra Stadion. I think definitely big character to fight back. I think that's hugely important in any team that they have that. And keep running, keep fighting, keep doing the right thing. And I also think I think after the 2-0, I think we were in a strange way better. Maybe because Bodo dropped back, maybe we took more initiative. You know, sometimes that's the momentum of the game. But I felt that we kept doing the right thing. We kept moving the ball, kept reducing the situation from the side, and showed great character to come back into the game, which I'm very, very pleased with. But big praise to Bodo. I think until the 2-0, they were the best team today. I think after that, the game changed a bit, and I think we got more on top. And of course, scored the 2-1 and then changed the equaliser. So they just showed exactly what I expected from them today. Of course, I hope we could have done a little bit more first half, got a little bit more into the high pressure in situations. And I would say, especially on the ball, I felt we could and should have kept the ball better in situations. Both a little bit of structure, a little bit brave, a little bit on the day where you just need better touches, better decisions, better passes. That can be various reasons. I think against Wolves we had no problem controlling in the beginning. I think we were by far the best team against Wolves in the first half. I think Brighton was a different game. I think also we were by far the best team in the first half. Just conceded one fairly well played goal. And as we talk about a goal that should have been conceded. Today I felt we struggled in the first half. So I think that's the only time we struggled in the 3 games against a very good Bodo team. Up here, a lot of teams will struggle when they play against them here. So it's just fair play to Bodo. I think that was what we wanted. Hopefully also you saw that we went high pressure sometimes. It was not that we never went high pressure. So the plan was both to go into the high pressure, which we did on several occasions, and also succeed with those situations. And then there were times when we were a little bit more banked in, exactly that we were 4 months ago. Because they're very, very good at what they're doing. And then I think the counters should have been a little bit better. But I think the main bit was that when we were on the ball, we threw the ball away too quick. That's a good question. I'm of this opinion that VAR, it's here, and definitely, I know there was a vote in Norway that you tried to vote against it and get rid of it. I don't think that's possible in Premier League and Champions League. So when it's not possible to get rid of it, I'm a little bit, okay, I deal with it. It is what it is, and I think in some occasions it's good, because you get hopefully the correct decisions when you don't get it, normally. But of course there's others where it's 2. You can actually discuss that one goal got disallowed. And actually the other one, they also looked into the equaliser. Both of them, without VAR, had just been goals. So we would have scored 2 goals, so that would have been favouring us. Because they were so 50-50 even. But I think the one where you oversee a clear penalty or a clear red card, that's where I think VAR is very good. I think they did exactly what I expected them to do in terms of how they wanted to play out, what they wanted to do, how they wanted to put our pressure. I think the only little tweak was they were a little bit more flexible in the midfield rotation and a little bit more with the wingers coming inside. So that was a little bit more flexible compared to let's say last game. So that was a tweak that maybe created a few problems in the first half. I think a little less in the second half. Even that, they scored the goals, there were various reasons. Because actually the way we wanted to press, we just decided not to do at the 1-0 goal, even if it's a fantastic finish from Ho. Thank you for that. Yes, I have made a decision. I haven't told the players yet, and that will be on Thursday. So I made the decision, but it's probably pretty obvious he will be. He has impressed me a lot as a player, but also as a communicator on the pitch, and a little bit of show of character. I think he was good today. It's a good question, but I agree. We didn't see it in the same way. Bodo were a little bit more aggressive in the duels than we were. Were we less? I don't know. That I probably need to revisit the game to see. But what I would say is that visually, looking with my eyes, it looked more even, tending to Bodo being more strong in certain duels. I think that's too early to judge, in my opinion. You can say we didn't play our best first half today, but I think I made it very clear from the beginning. I have a big respect for Bodo, and everyone should have for what they do, and what Kjetil Knutsen is doing. I think it's also fair to say that we didn't touch the ball in the first half last year either, and it was still 0-0 at that half. I think they were slightly better today in the first half, Bodo, so I think that's more respect to them. I think it's also fair to say that it went quite well against Wolves in the first half, so I know that's a bigger perspective. I think it's overall, you can say with a lot of games, that go-to starting 11 you like to find at a certain stage. That's something I'm looking into, which is normal. New coach, new players, and we still need to do a little bit of rotation. Tottenham escaped from the Arctic with a lucky point. In a fiery Champions League night in Bodo, Jens Petter Hauge's brilliance had Spurs staring at defeat, but a late own goal spared Thomas Frank's men as they stumbled to a 2-2 draw in front of a rocking 8,000 yellow-clad fans. Tottenham returned to Bodo and left with a share of the spoils, as they somehow salvaged a 2-2 draw in the Champions League on Tuesday night. A Jens Petter Hauge double was exactly what the hosts deserved, as they overwhelmed their error-strewn guests only for captain for the day, Mickey van der Ven to head a goal back, and then in the 89th minute, an Archie Gray shot was saved by the goalkeeper, only to bounce into the net off Bodo defender Jostein Gundersen to spare Thomas Frank's side's blushes. Spurs were back in the small Norwegian town by the sea just 4 months on from their 2-0 victory at the Aspmyra Stadion in the Europa League semi-final. Second leg back in May. This time it was for Bodo Glimt's first home game in the Champions League proper, and the town was awash with yellow ahead of the game, with flags hanging from almost every home. Frank made 5 changes to his Tottenham starting lineup from the team that snatched a draw from Wolves on Saturday evening. Captain Christian Romero missed the trip to the town above the Arctic Circle as a precaution, and the visitors missed his assertiveness in the tackle and on the ball. All of the first half pressure came from the home side, with a noisy crowd behind them, and on 32 minutes, Bodo Glimt were awarded a penalty, which was just reward for their efforts. Rodrigo Bentancur's late lunge brought down Frederick Andre Bjorken wide on the left of the Spurs box. The Uruguayan's blushes were spared though, when Kasper Ho blazed his penalty into the net, but it was the netting hung high over the crossbar to prevent the ball from flying out of the stadium and into the road behind. Another let-off came just before the break, when Sondre Brunstad Fett found himself free 8 yards out, only to fire well over and ensure Tottenham somehow escaped into the dressing room for the interval, with the game goalless. Frank made no changes at the break, and the host kept on coming, and finally grabbed the goal they deserved on 53 minutes. Hauge cut inside from the left, turned Porro inside out, and curled a shot into the far corner of the net. Spurs thought they had grabbed an equaliser just 2 minutes later, when Bentancur turned in Brennan Johnson's shot after Porro's free kick hit the post. However, the referee Ivan Kruzliak was advised by VAR to head to his pitch side screen after a shirt pull from Van der Ven on Odin Bjortuft, and the effort was ruled out. On 65 minutes, Hauge again left Porro in his wake before smashing a low shot into the bottom right corner. Van der Ven headed home a deep Porro cross to grab a goal back 3 minutes later though, and Spurs went close to a leveller on 83 minutes, when Wilson Udderbear sent a header against the left-hand post from substitute Mohamed Kudus's cross. The host hit the woodwork late on themselves through substitute Andreas Helmerson, only for Tottenham to grab that late second goal, when substitute Gray's shot was saved but bounced back off Bodo defender Gunderson and into the net to hand the London side a barely deserved point. Here are our Tottenham player ratings. Guglielmo Vicario had to make an early save from Berg and then a comfortable one from Bjortuft. Couldn't do much about the finishes from Hauge. 5 Pedro Porro turned inside out for both of Hauge's goals. Did hit the post with one free kick in the second half before delivering a great cross for Van de Ven's goal to balance out his score. 5 Kevin Danso back in the team and mixed some aimless passing with some vital early blocks. Looked all at sea at times alongside the backline. 4 Mickey Van de Ven captain for the day, and he was penalised for a shirt pull that ruled out Bentancur's goal, but then headed home himself after Bodo's second. Did try to lead Spurs on and push them up the pitch in the second half. Lost his head with a late sliding tackle somewhat. 6 Jed Spence, going through a sticky run at the moment with some poor passing and worse deliveries. 4 Pape Matar. Sarr started the game with some sloppy moments in possession. Didn't get much better from then on. 4 Rodrigo Bentancur. Gave away the penalty in the first half with a misjudged lunge. Thought he'd got a leveller, only for Van de Ven's shirt pull. 5 Lucas Bergvall. Made a great early break that should have ended with a better Richarlison effort. Was overwhelmed with the midfield from then on. 5 Brennan Johnson. Another game where he struggled to contribute much, and their missed penalty came from him ducking out of an aerial battle. A poor night, but he did have the shot that Bentancur tucked home, only for Van de Ven's shirt pull to result in it being disallowed. 3 Richarlison scuffed a ball from Bergvall that should have been put away. Was pretty poor for most of the game, but did help force the leveller. 4 Wilson Odobert had a couple of bright moments on the ball amid Spurs' dreadful first half. Was quiet in the second half until sending a header against the post. 5